Flynn documents that dropped just a few hours ago. Remember, Tuesday night, Flynn's attorneys felt that he'd been duped by government lawyers, and further, that he was told he didn't need legal representation in that interview with the two FBI agents in January of 2017. And he responded today in part, writing, "The agents did not provide General Flynn, his lawyers, with a warning of the penalties for making a false statement under 18 U.S.C. 1001 before, during, or after the interview. Prior to the FBI's interview of General Flynn, Mr. McCabe and other FBI officials decided the agents would not warn Flynn that it was a crime to lie during an FBI interview because they wanted Flynn to be relaxed, and they were concerned that giving the warnings might adversely affect the rapport. They also said that the lack of counsel did not make Flynn lie and that he should have known better." Now, Kimberly, you wrote in the Journal that what happened to Flynn was akin to entrapment. Is there anything in today's document, and some interesting redactions we're going to get to as well, why they redacted certain things, but there's anything that you saw today that changes your thinking or maybe even solidifies it?
It's an incredibly unpersuasive document, Laura. First of all, one thing that really struck me is how defensive it sounded. We're used to these special counsel filings where they hold all the cards. This one went out of its way to also point out that Michael Flynn had lied to the press, as if that is a crime. Hopefully it's not. Most of Washington would be in jail. But, you know, and then goes through, well, he should have known better. He should have known not to. I think none of this changes the fact, Laura, that the way they set this up, and Jim Comey has essentially admitted it, is that they set it up on a casual basis. Let's have a chat. There seems to be no question that Flynn believed he was just going to sit down and go through some of these questions, when in fact what they were conducting was a formal interview, and they didn't go through any of the motions or any of the standard procedures of a formal interview. And the question is why.
And I want to hold on. I want to just read, Alan. I want you to respond to this because I know this is what you want to address. Now, this is in the government's filing that just dropped. Okay, responding to the question about the agents themselves not thinking that Flynn lied. So the interviewing agents didn't observe any indicia of deception, and had the impression at the time that the defendant was not lying, or did not think he was lying. Those misimpressions do not change the fact, as the defendant has admitted in sworn testimony in this district court, that he was indeed lying and knowingly made false statements to the FBI agents in a national security investigation. Those false statements were material, et cetera, et cetera. Alan, that's a cute little formulation by the special counsel's office. That's very cute. But the fact is, they were twisting the arm of Flynn and threatening probably his son to get him to say, oh, yeah, I lied. But the agents themselves did not think he lied, period.
Look, on day one, when the charges were leveled against them, I came on this channel and I said he was not guilty and he should fight this, and I think he would win on a number of grounds. Look, there are two issues. Did Flynn do the right thing? No, he shouldn't have lied, no matter what the circumstances are. You don't lie to the vice president, you don't lie to the press, you don't lie to FBI agents. But the real question is what the FBI did. They asked him questions that they knew the answers to. They weren't trying to get information from him. They were trying to give him an opportunity to lie. That was the purpose. Comey basically says that. They send in agents like Strzok, and they gave him an opportunity to lie. He shouldn't have done it, but that's not the way the FBI should operate, and they should never discourage anybody from bringing a lawyer. That's why in 53 years of practice, I've never had a client sit down with the FBI. No. I've never had a client testify. They're not here to help you. They pretend they're there to help you. They pretend they're friendly, but they're there to trap you. And he fell into the trap. It's his own fault he fell into the trap. But I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about, as a civil libertarian, do we want our government officials to behave this way to help create crimes? I think the answer is not. Yeah.
They're on the hunt. And guys, there's one more question I want to ask, because the redactions are very disturbing to me. Why are redacting the agent's name who interviewed Flynn with Peter Strzok? What would be the reason for redacting the agent's name, Kim?
Well, it's unclear, because his name is generally out there, and I've heard people confirm it, who this other person was. So they're filing it under, well, we just don't put the names willy-nilly of agents out there. Apparently,
well,
it's
kind of important when people think this whole thing's biased, don't you think?
Yeah.
We want to know who started this ball rolling with the investigation. We want to know all the commas, who's in between all the commas at the direction of comma, comma, comma. Who are these people who advised this thing to go forward the way it did? Comey, McCabe, and all the other people who are leaking to the media.
So, Laura, I think it's because they don't want this guy's name out there where he might get called in to talk further.
Yeah, Alan, real quick.
Well, the Congress can get his name, obviously, if they want it. But the strategy was simple. It was laid out by Judge Ellis. Let's trap as many people as we can into committing perjury, and then we'll squeeze them and try to get them to testify against Trump. A special counsel is appointed to try to uncover crimes that have already occurred. In this case, almost all the crimes were crimes that occurred after he became special counsel in many instances, and they use those crimes not because they're interested in Flynn or interested in Manafort, but because they want to squeeze him to sing or to compose, and that raises fundamental questions of civil liberties.
Now, panel, thank you so much. Great to see both of you. And